Good evening. It's Wednesday night. It's our product experience and training call here for Immunotech Research. My name is Keith Hooper. We're joined this evening by our good friend Doug LeClaire. Good evening, Doug.
Good evening, Keith.
And as always on these calls, we put the caveats in. The product from Immunotech Research do not cure anything, but as Hippocrates said some 2,500 years ago, let food be thy medicine, and simply the most important foods you can use, Immunical Platinum, as well as our other great products. We also have a very special guest, Judy Skibsted, on our call this evening, and so we're changing up the routine a little bit on these calls. Hopefully Dr. White will be joining us here in a minute or two, but I think the best way to introduce Judy this evening is to really see what other people think about her. So let's just listen for a moment.
In the glow of the neon light, Judy's playing till the morning bright. From New York clubs to the Midwest scene, she made that Hammond B3 sing. And when she touched those keys just right, the crowd was swinging every night. St. Paul, Minneapolis knew the Judy Richmond Trio brought the groove. Judy swings the night away. On that organ, she makes it sway. From the Chamberlain to the Bay tone, she played a sound all her own. Judy swings, she plays it true. Every note's got rhythm and blues. Raise your glass, the lady's gold. Her music never grows commercial jingles with a jazzy flair. Her sound was magic floating through the air. One of the few with that Chamberlain rare. She played with soul, style, and care. Minnesota nights or a Broadway crowd. Judy's trio always played it loud. With every chord the room took flight. She was the heartbeat of the night. Judy swings the night away. On that organ she makes it sway. From the Chamberlain
have the Golden Girl herself with us, Judy.
Yes. Thank you, Keith.
Judy Richmond. We have you with us, my dear. How are you?
Yes.
How are you, my dear? Everybody else gonna be jealous now when I get ready to do an introduction for them. After that, so how are you, my dear?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Well, one of the things we want to talk about here at Immunotech is talking about the people and the product, what the product's done for them, and who they really are. So tell us, Golden Girl, how did you become the Golden Girl of?
Well, I was performing all over, in St. Paul and Minneapolis, where I'm from. I had the Judy Richmond Trio, and I played an instrument called a Chamberlin that sounded like a whole orchestra. It had saxophones, bass, drums, vibes, guitars, everything on it, and so I could sound like a 15-piece orchestra by myself. And I was playing at a club at the Sands in Phoenix when I don't know, there's a lot to the story, but a producer from New York came in and heard me sounding like a whole orchestra and wanted me to come to New York and do a show with Bobby Darin. And so I eventually did do that. But while I was at the Sands in Phoenix, there was a dress designer, and I used to wear a lot of glittery cocktail clothes and rhinestone earrings and all of that. And she wanted to make me a 24-karat gold dress. So she invited me to the store, and she actually designed the dress right on me. And it had gauntlets, with the dress. It was strapless gold dress, and so I wore that, and then the Minneapolis Aquatennial wanted me to play for all their events over at the Minneapolis Aquatennial, and so I wore my 24-karat gold dress, and at that time I had golden blonde hair, and so they named me the Golden Girl of the Minneapolis Aquatennial. So I played at all the events there, and then I ended up going to California to the Rose Bowl parade, riding on the Rose Bowl, on the Minneapolis Aquatennial float in the Rose Bowl parade with my 24-karat gold dress. So then I got write-ups in the newspapers and all that kind of thing. So it kind of went on from there.
Well, that's amazing. So you played with Bobby Darin. You played with all kinds of stars on Broadway and all over, right?
Yes, I did. I used to, when the producer from New York would call me to do a show, I did one with Maury Amsterdam. So I have pictures. I have all pictures with famous people that I worked with. And I used to, the Chamberlin was a full keyboard, but each finger played a different instrument on the keyboard. So it weighed 400 pounds, and he would have me fly that in the cargo section of the airlines to New York, do a show there for a week or whatever it was, and then fly back. I could rent a Hammond organ there, but the Chamberlin, there were only 8 or 9 professionals in the United States that ever played a Chamberlin, so it was quite unique instrument.
And then one night you were playing, I'm assuming it was back in Minneapolis area, and some guy was sitting there listening to you and wanted to take you snow skiing, right?
That's right. Yeah. That was my first date with Skip. He came into the club, and the first thing he asked me, he said, that was on a Friday night, and he said, how would you like to go skiing on Sunday? And I said, oh, no, there's no way you could get me on a pair of skis. I said, if I fell down and broke a leg or an arm, I'd be out of business. And I said, I hate cold weather, and I don't wear big bulky mittens and big bulky jackets and big after ski boots and so forth. I wore little sequin dresses and little spaghetti strap dresses and so forth, and so then the next day, that was on Saturday, on Friday, and the next day on Saturday, I found myself going to the ski shop buying big bulky mittens and big bulky jackets after ski boots. And my mother said the same thing to me. She said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, this really cute guy asked me to go skiing on Sunday." And so she said, "Are you crazy? If you fall and break a leg, you'll be out of business." But I did go skiing on Sunday, and he showed me how to go up the bunny hill and get to the top. And so he says, well, now you have to, he rented the skis and the poles and everything. And he said, now you have to stand with your skis like pigeon-toed, and then you have to kind of go knock-kneed, bend your legs and kind of go knock-kneed, and then you stick your seat out in the air and go down the hill that way. And I thought, I must really look stupid. He's never going to ask me out on a date again. But he was teaching me the snowplow, you know. So I went down the hill once, and I didn't fall, and I said, wasn't that great? I said, let's go in the chalet and celebrate. And we drank the rest of the day.
And you drank and continued to do that for many, many years. So,
many years, that's right.
Amazing, Judy. So, I mean, you know, it's an amazing thing, you know, about Immunotech and the people we get to meet and the deal. And you and Dr. Skip obviously are very special in our hearts with that. And, you know, so you guys had an amazing career. You had an amazing musical career. He was obviously had an amazing career as a healthcare professional, as a doctor. And you guys traveled the world with that, right?
Yes. Yes, we did. They asked him to speak over in Australia and over in Japan and London, England, and Alaska, Hawaii, all over the world. So we would close up our clinic. We'd put in our patients on our day off, you know, and close up the clinic for a week or whatever and fly out to these places. And then they provided us with some of the doctors over there that kind of showed us around Australia. And so we had some amazing experiences. And I also we met a lot of people from around the world. And one of them from Atlanta, Georgia, he was an X-ray taught X-ray all over. And he and his wife, she called up one day and said, Judy, we're going on a trip to Africa, and we'd like you and Skip to go with us. And I said, oh, no, I would be the furthest away from Africa, wild animals and everything as you can get. And she said, no, we're going on a first-class trip. We're going to stay in tents on the Mara River. And I said, oh, no, I don't do tents. And so I told her no, and then I slept on it overnight, and I said to Skip the next morning, I said, if we don't go on this trip, we'll never get another opportunity like that again. So we did go on the trip with five couples all together, and went up in a hot air balloon ride over the Serengeti Plains, and we landed in the middle of the Serengeti Plains with all these elephants and tigers and lions and giraffes and all these wild animals around us, and they set up a champagne breakfast, and I said, aren't those wild animals going to come in and smell the food and eat us up? And they said no, because they send a Maasai tribe member with them. And they wear red serapes, and the animals are afraid of red, so they don't come in. So they just circled around us and watched us. So
wow,
it's amazing trips and amazing experiences.
So with you and Dr. Skip, with all of the traveling and all the medical people that you've seen and the doctors you've seen and all the teaching you did for the Parker Chiropractic College and Carl Parker and all of those people, you were exposed to a lot of quote-unquote natural health products over the years, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So you got exposed to a lot of them. I know Janice Miller and myself were able to meet you down in Las Vegas at a Parker event and met you and Dr. Carl the first time. But, having seen all that, you become kind of jaded as to whether stuff is real, right?
Yes.
But that changed. That understanding of just how important Immunical is changed at some point, correct?
Yes. We first heard about Immunical when Skip was diagnosed with a 2.5-inch spiculated cancer mass on his right lung, diagnosed by an MRI. And because we don't like drugs, every drug has a side effect. And so we called up this gal that we know that taught on the Parker seminars also in New York and asked her what she did. She had terminal colon cancer, and she said, Judy, get him on Immunical immediately. And because I trusted her, I said, okay, what is it and where do we get it? So she told me where to get it. We got on it. But by the time that you get to a medical doctor that refers you down to a lung specialist that refers you then again down to the hospital for supposedly they wanted to do a biopsy, it had been 6 weeks. So he was on it. He was taking the Immunical for 6 weeks. And in that amount of time, we got down to the hospital and luckily got a good radiologist who said, before I stick the needle into your lung, because chances are your lung could collapse. And they don't tell that to everybody, but they knew he was a doctor and maybe would know. They said, we're going to do a CAT scan and see where is the best place to stick the needle. And so when they did the CAT scan, and I brought the original MRI, and when they compared the two, the mass had already reduced 50% in just 6 weeks. So the radiologist said, we're not going to do a biopsy today. We'll wait another 8, 9 weeks and do another one. So 8, 9 weeks later, he kept taking Immunical, and it went down to the size of his little fingernail. And so the doctor came out and he said, it's shrinking, it's disappearing, you're gonna be out of the woods. He said, so we won't do anything. And after that, it was totally gone. There was no mass on his lung at all, and it never came back.
Amazing. So once again, this incredible product that's there, but if Beverly Nadler hadn't told you about it, you would never have known about it, right?
That's right. Yes.
So it's all about.
So we're so grateful to her that she told us about it, that I said that I would tell everybody that's got any kind of condition to try Immunical, because, I mean, the worst thing that could happen is nothing at all, but it certainly can't hurt to try. And so with all the people that I've told, I've got probably, I don't know, maybe 52 stories, because I always tell them to email me back on what it did. And I've had people email me back that said that their diabetes, their blood sugar went way down, and their doctor took them off their medications. And, just different things. Parkinson's, their shaking stopped, all kinds of good things. So,
well, you know, Judy, over the years, that with there's such a spectacular story with Dr. Skip, that we really didn't delve into what you've noticed personally using the Immunical. We've never really delved into that on one of these calls, so maybe you would share people your personal experience.
Yes. Well, when I found out that it was just also good for, adding length to the telomeres, which is your aging process, I started taking it. And basically, I had a cataract in my right eye, and the eye doctor said, you're going to have cataract surgery. Well, I'm so afraid of any kind of surgeries because cataract surgery doesn't always turn out well. So I said, well, I'm just going to wait a little bit. So the following year I went back, and he said, Judy, he said, I don't see the cataract in your eye anymore. And I said, you're kidding me. And he said, no. I said, well, then it's got to be the Immunical. He says, what's Immunical? I said, well, Immunical is a natural product, and it raises glutathione. And that's when he told me that you have glutathione in the lens of your eyes, and it depletes out of the lens of your eyes just like it does the rest of the cells in your body. So apparently it had gotten up to my eyes and dissolved my cataract. So I didn't have to have cataract surgery. And the other thing is that I'm unbelievable. I had been wearing contact lenses for 10 years and cheaters, to read small print and so forth. I have not worn contacts probably for the past 10 years. I don't wear any contacts or reading glasses to read. I can see far, far in the distance. I can read tiny, tiny print close up without any contact lenses or glasses or cheaters or anything. So And the other thing that I noticed is that I used to have large pores on my nose and my cheeks ever since I was in high school. And those, after I started on the Immunical, those all closed up, and my skin is so smooth. And I don't have any wrinkles. It got rid of the crease in the middle of the forehead, the frown line that everybody gets. I had one there, and it's totally gone. It's smooth.
Wow,
So
Judy.
I'm getting younger every year.
So you
and
would
I'm happy about that.
so you would recommend Immunical to everybody?
To everybody. Yeah, I think everybody should be on it.
Well, absolutely,
Yep.
Judy. Well, I can say amazing story with that you and Dr. Skip started on Immunical around 2010. Am I right?
Yeah, probably. Uh-huh.
Yeah, 15 years. Let me see if I can bring Doug LeClaire in here. For some reason, it won't let. There he is. Okay. So, Doug, pretty interesting to have somebody like Judy and with her experience and the people that she meets. It's kind of nice to do one of these calls a little bit differently, huh?
Oh, it's awesome, Keith. This is what inspires me and keeps me motivated and keeping sharing Immunical and what it can do. But, Judy took action. She trusted a friend, and she acted on that. And I think that's the most important message that I got is she was willing to take immediate and decisive action on a recommendation from a friend.
And because of who, her and Skip's one of their patients was a guy by the name of Ronald Reagan. Another one was Michael York, the actor Michael York. Some of them, and Ronald Reagan was an actor too. So just so you know,
Well, not really. No.
in case you didn't know who
Michael
he was.
York, that's Darren Stevens, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
no, that was. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was different. That was different York. But, Judy, you had a lot of contact with a lot of famous people, and, wouldn't it have been a blessing to be able to tell them about Immunical?
Yes, it would.
Particularly when you think of Ronald Reagan and the Alzheimer's at the end of his life, and we know what Immunical does for Alzheimer's. It's been wonderful to be able to tell him about it, right?
Yeah.
Timing wasn't such that in the timelines, but of you knowing about it and so forth. But, we should never be bashful about telling somebody about Immunical, right?
That's right. Yeah, I tell everybody about it, and I've got some amazing stories back, which makes me happy. It makes me feel good that I've been able to, suggest that and help people on their way to a better health issue.
and I know you've sent me some great videos that I've used a little bit. What we know is the best time for people to start on Immunical is when they're still wearing diapers, and they could even mix it up, right?
Yeah, well, that's what my niece did. She gave it to her. She has an amazing story too that she told on one of the phone calls, and then she started sprinkling it on her little baby's pablum a little bit, and so it's basically like mother's milk, they say, breast milk, and so it's got a lot of anti-inflammatory products in it, so you can sprinkle it on I sprinkle it on my little dog Tissy. She's a little Maltese, and I sprinkle it on her dog food, and she eats it up, and hopefully she'll live longer.
Yeah, and that's your niece Kimberly, right?
Yes.
Well, let me see if we can. I see a person here by the name of Kimberly that I know. Kimberly, how are you this evening? Are you somewhere where you can speak, young lady?
I am. Might be a little bit distracted. Sorry, I was working on homework with my son, so I heard my name, and I don't know what you were saying. I have a feeling I know, but...
About that, the best time to teach somebody to mix Immunical is when they're pretty young, right?
Oh, yeah.
Shake it up. Yeah, you want to share that just a little
yes,
bit?
my daughter, yeah. So my kids have all taken Immunical from the time they were little. And so you might have been talking about my daughter who was doing a little commercial about taking up Immunical.
Yep. So
okay.
It's amazing, huh?
It's been a part of our family's lives for a long time, since 2011.
Have you noticed that your kids are smarter than the kids they're hanging around with?
Unfortunately, they're at like the 99th percentile.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, not a bad idea, right? Not a
I mean,
bad
we got to
idea.
shoot for that 100th, but
There you go.
we'll keep going with Immunical. So
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being on this call this Wednesday night. Once again, these are a call that we do. So let me open up the calls. I see that it appears that Dr. Berry wasn't able to join us this evening, but he can listen to the rebroadcast. So let me go ahead and open this up for everyone. All right, so once again, before we get started, the products from Immunotech Research do not cure anything. As Hippocrates said some 2,500 years ago, let food be thy medicine. Simply the most important food you can use, Immunical Platinum, as well as our other great products. So put that in there. Who has a thought, comment, or question for Judy this evening?
The vibrato is unbelievable. I love it. And her breath is just so fun, lengthy, fantastic. And on the health side, about a month ago, I went in to have cataracts removed from my eyes, and the surgeon who was going to do it said, let me check them. He checked them, and he said, no need for surgery at all. And that's been 2 months now. And he said, you still have a little bit there, but can you imagine that? At 93 years of age, I'm pushing ahead for 100. So all I can say is keep that vibrato going, and I'm going to be goggling with my Immunical. You never know.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate that. All right. Anyone else there tonight as we're coming to the bottom of the hour? Anyone else have something for a question or thought or comment for Judy? Or for Kimberly for getting kids on Immunical at an early time, All right.
Me, so I just want to say how privileged I have been to work with Judy all these years. It's such a blessing, and all her stories of people that she's helped and that we've been able to, share with, and it's just a wonderful miracle, especially with our little pups.
Yep.
I know mine lived 21 years, and I sprinkle the Immunical on her food every day. So,
oh wow,
yeah.
And we know it's not placebo because we don't tell the pets that we're putting Immunical in their food.
Exactly.
How old was the pet? How old?
21. 21-year-old dog.
Wonderful.
So.
That's great. Well, my little TC is 16, and she runs around like she's a little puppy. So I think the Immunical is working.
Exactly. Isn't that fun?
Absolutely.
It is fun, and the pets are amazing. And actually, I've got an amazing story. I mean, Juliet, who often joins us on a lot of Zoom calls and that, she has her cat on Immunical, and I have to have it verified, but her cat just turned 30, and
oh my gosh,
his name's Topaz. He's a big orange tabby, just majestic, and she has 2 other cats, and he rules the roost. It's absolutely fascinating.
We'll see if you can get her to join. See if you can get her to join us next week. That would be great.
I'll ask her.
Yeah, see if we can do that, and we'll visit on that. So, Judy, Golden Girl, any final thoughts as we wrap up the call this evening?
Well, just that I've had such amazing results with myself, and Skip had such amazing results with his issues, and I have told everybody about it. One lady in California with Parkinson's, she called me and couldn't thank me enough for telling her about it because her shaking stopped, and her doctor took her off from some of her medications, and she was very grateful that I told her about it. And so I just think everybody should know about it, and it's pretty amazing when you go out someplace and you're talking to people. They always seem to bring up some health issue, and all I do is I just say, oh gosh, you should know about Immunical, and then I just drop it. If they don't say anything, I guess I don't tell them about it, but if they do, most of the time they do, and they say, well, what's Immunical? Well, then when I explain it to them, most of them are pretty interested because they'd be interested in something that's natural, that's not going to be harmful to them, and if they want to try it, I tell them just try it. And most of them that do continue on because they can see that it works.
So absolutely, here on this Wednesday night, this call is up on the replay. As soon as we hang up, the replay number is 605-313-5153. That's once again, it's 605-313-5153. Same PIN code that you used tonight to get in, which is the 589-825-pound. So once again, 605-313-5153 is a replay, and the PIN is the same, 589-825 to replay that. That'll be there until we have next week, and then we'll get this up on our team site, and we'll share that again to this there. So, Judy, thank you once again. Thank all of you for being here. We're gonna rock out as we finish out this evening. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll hear you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
In the glow of the neon light, Judy's playing till the morning bright. From New York clubs to the Midwest scene, she made that Hammond B3 sing. And when she touched those keys just right, the crowd was swinging every night. St. Paul, Minneapolis knew the Judy Richmond Trio brought the groove. Judy swings the night away. On that organ, she makes it sway. From the chamberlain to the bass tone, she played a sound all her own. Judy swings, she plays it true. Every note's got rhythm and blues. Raise your glass, the lady's gold. Her music never grows commercial jingles with a jazzy flair. Her sound was magic floating through the air. One of the few with that Chamberlain rare. She played with soul, style, and care. Minnesota nights or a Broadway crowd. Judy's trio always played it loud. slide.